Well, good evening to you all, listeners, viewers, wherever you are. This is the Cricket Show USA, and we're here post ICC T20 World Cup final match between India and South Africa. And we hope that we might be able to touch briefly on some of the finer points of what has taken place during the game today, possibly events that may have occurred leading up to the final of this match, of this tournament and this series. So, you know, sit back, and if you can and wish to join us, you may, send us a message. I'm not sure we'd be able to respond, but I'll ask my coach, Jatin, to let you know how you may join in if you are, coming up on our discussion and wish to participate. So, Coach, I'll leave that with you. Good evening, Coach. Good evening, Leon.
Pleasant good evening to you, Dennis, and to you, Coach.
Good evening, everyone.
All right. So, first off, Leon, I saw today a fan in the stand at one point of this match. He had his hands clasped, in the usual format of the prayer, and his eyes closed. And quite clearly, this was at the time where South Africa needed like 30 runs from 30 balls. So, of course, what do you conclude at a time like this? This man is praying for a miracle. The question is, did he get a miracle or did South Africa get some bad luck? Which one?
He certainly got a miracle. I tell you, I too could not decide at that point whether or not South Africa were going to pull it off. Knowing their history of choking, I just felt that if Boomer comes on and get a wicket, anything can happen. And so said, so done. But India has the knack. I don't know if anybody noticed. They slowed up the game with the pant injury.
Yes.
That pant injury had a terrific effect. Plus, after he came back from the injury, he was not himself again. And he played a bad shot. But if he were to have held his wicket and play run a ball, or even you have a couple dot balls, could have made a difference. But that guy prayer obviously came off, and I was not giving up, because they're saying that the match was still either way, 1 or 2 wickets. I've seen it. And coach, I saw the nervousness in Johnson when he came in, because he normally couldn't give us a few runs, but he was not. I felt they should have switch the order of batting.
But no, Leon. Seriously, Leon, you said Jansen could have taken that. Did you see that delivery that got rid of Jansen?
Yeah, what I'm saying, they should not have sent him in. But he didn't have a good...
But he came through for them 2 days before.
But when I saw him, Dennis, come to the wicket, he looked nervous, Red. Look at him.
Of course. He should have been a beggar boss. Coach, just for others out there who may be watching, I lost that quickly, but I will try to find it again.
Oh, that's fine. So just to give a recap on that punt situation, the way I look at it, and this is what we normally discuss in a mindset mentoring process. When everything fails, when everything is not going, and if you believe yourself with fear and the worry about the current situation, the first important thing you have to do is stop all nonsense, we call it. Means you have to shut it off, everything, whatever is happening out there. Okay. The quick rehab thing is usually deep breathing, right? And get back. But in this situation, deep breathing for a moment will not help because everything was disturbed. If you look at the previous 2 overs. Aksar went for, I think, 22 runs or 24 runs in that over with 2 sixes and 4. Also, uh, the Kuldeep Yadav went on for so many runs. Unfortunately, both these spinners give them, I think, 39 and 45 runs in 4 overs. That's a huge between the two spinners who are accurate, effective, and they're supposed to grab the wicket. Kuldeep went, I think, without wicket in this inning. So that was a huge pressure was going on. And as soon as the moment came out, it wasn't time to take a break for 15, 20, or 30 seconds. You need a longer break here. And that is where I believe Pant took this advantage, or maybe the team planned to take this moment as an injury stoppage. And during this process, what happens here is everything was like freeze. The moment was freeze. Also, at the same time, they are buying a time to rethink about it, where we stand. I believe at that point, they were like 30 runs needed from 30 balls, and you have this Klassen and Miller, both were going really well. It was loaded guns the way they were going on it. So in order to stop them, there's only thing is possible is buy a time where you can rethink, recharge your battery, refocus yourself, get the concentration you need, gain some confidence like, hey, we can still do it and come back in a game. Now, these are the things doesn't happen in a fraction of a second. So that is what the stoppage. At the same time, the positive side, when you take this kind of break, means the stoppage, it definitely distracts the opponent. It's also give a break to their momentum. You know how they were going. Every
Yes.
ball by ball, they were swinging the bat, having score runs, boundaries were floating. We have to stop that. And that is what exactly happened. The momentum got the really hard break, I will say. And all of a sudden, it was too much distraction because now they lost. They are looking at the board. They're looking at these easy tasks, 30 balls for 30 runs. And I can tell you what exactly happened here. It was a pressure on India. If they do not have took this punch break, it was a pressure on India. And whoever comes next over, do you think it will be easy on that bowler? Because Klassen and Miller was throwing bat at everything,
Yes.
and they were scoring the boundaries. Success was there. So we have to stop the momentum. Now, when you stop momentum, it creates a pressure in the South Africa camp. You got 30 balls left and 30 runs score, but in their head, because of that stoppage, when they look at the scoreboard, oh, we just got 5 overs left. Okay, Bumrah is going to bowl 2 overs. Arshdeep going to bowl 1 over. Now the fear came in. Now you got to do something in the next 12 to 18 balls. You can't wait and do something with the Bumrah. So immediately after this stoppage, wicket fall. Why? Because they wanted to go 6s and 4s to wrap up this game as soon as they can. They can't wait until 19 or 20 over. So if you look at the psychology game, hats off to the coach and staff here. I know very well fielding coach and other people too who attended my seminars during the OMTech series in Corona. And all I can say, this is all about playing smart. And if you look at it, the Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, and Arshdeep, all these 3 bowlers put everything they have in this game.
Yes.
And that was the completely turnaround. Absolutely, the
Exactly.
Klassen wicket and Bumrah's bowling definitely took that partnership, which is we call a game-changing moment.
Yes.
But after that game-changing moment, they did not stop. And they came back hard to make sure that they don't lose from there. And believe it or not, bowling that last over where you're defending barely 16 runs is not easy either. And
Yeah.
they managed it. So overall, as we said over the years, before even tournament, I was preaching the same thing, like the South Africa always find exit before the last destination.
Yeah.
But in this case, at least they reach the final but they stopped before the destination. So they
Yeah,
did
yeah.
not took the exit, but they did stop. They had this game, believe it or not, when they were 30 ball, 30 runs needed. I will say in a Bumrah's over, they don't need to go air yell route. They could have keeping those singles and doubles until they see the loose ball is coming, but they did not wait for it.
They did not. And
Yes.
coach and Dennis, do you
Yes.
remember a similar situation happening in the Afghanistan,
Yes.
South
Same
Africa?
thing. Yes,
Well,
same thing. Same thing.
yeah,
It happens over and over. Australia did it twice against India, against Afghanistan. Also, Pakistan did same thing against India. Remember, they were like in the game, and
yeah.
all of a sudden that is so. Here is like what this Indian team master that tactical side of this game is: stay cool, stay calm, play the good, fun, full cricket, and let it comes ball by ball, and they took the advantage of it.
Yes, I noticed that, as I said, one of the talking point possibly would be that we saw Rohit Sharma, I guess you could say, failed for the first time in this series, because every match that he's played, he's gone out there and he's been very positive and he's got off the mark and but this was the one match that you could say he well, he failed to perform as his usual self. But guess what? All the other matches before this one, we had Virat failing to perform. But today, we saw the reverse, where Rohit failed, Virat came in, knowing all the other batters in the Indian side would also step up. So I see that as India is just such a well-balanced side that they have a lot of confidence in players coming down below. If you think about what we saw with the West Indies recently, where one or two players at the top kind of failed, and then suddenly the whole cake just pancaked into nothing. How do you describe that to the listeners, coach?
Okay, the first of all, we call it as all about the game reading. It begins with the before the toss when the players or coach or team manager visit this pitch and look at it. For you are not allowed to step on pitch and do something, but you can see that what is the grass looks like on it. Number one. Number two, you are looking at cracks. And number three is the surface itself. If it is looks like shiny, like a glass, flat, rough, those are the things they usually look at it. And here I will say, India made all those decisions okay. You have to understand these West Indian wickets, the pitches. It is normal, especially in this Barbados, when you're starting at 10:30 and pitches are under cover until morning. So in the morning, there is a little bit dampness is there, some humidity out there inside the pitch, and you expect a ton. And that is where this Maharaj took those couple of wickets early. Number two, on the batting side, when Rohit Sharma made a decision to bat on, it is a good decision. Look at the very first over. Virat Kohli made 15 runs of Jensen to begin with. Okay. Going further, what was the expectation in this speech? Is it definitely build a sum total. I'm sure it was a target of 180, but they did not make it because of those three early loss of wickets. But after the 180, the plan B comes in a place. The expected outcome was in the morning, it was expected to take a turn. It did in a Maharaj and Makran's over. After that, they never used the spinners because it was losing. What India was expecting in the second phase of this game is if it is too many footmarks on the pitches because of the bowling, and when it's dry out, it becomes the harder, right? It may be easable to play, but because of those wear and tear on the pitch, they were expected to have some odd bounces from those spots, which is created by the footmarks of the previous inning bowlers. And that is what they're wanted to take advantage because they have these spinners like Jadeja, Akshar Patel, and Kuldeep Yadav. Did not happen. Going back to the biggest concern, I always say that Virat Kohli always plays under pressure. And he proved it again when India was in crisis. He
Mhm.
even stopped the collapse. And look at it, simplest way. When nobody can bat, King Kohli can bat. And that is he proved here. Number two, the biggest factor to me is my buddy Akshar Patel. He is
Oh
a
yeah.
man of the crisis. He came against Pakistan at number 3 or 4 early in the batting, and he saved the partnership, good partnership to build and took it. Then in a couple of places, like he came for bowling, like against Australia, he cracked those 3, 4 wickets and started giving the advantage. And today again, when the India team collapsed, he built a really good partnership for Virat Kohli. Not only that, Virat Kohli can stay on one end, and he's the one he put those 3 big sixes and 1 4. The unfortunate thing is Rohit Sharma's failure. If you say so, I will not. The plan was simple. When you're scoring 15 runs in a first over, you don't want to lose the momentum. Means you have to throw the bat and get the boundaries. And that is where he tried to play that sweep spot. Unfortunately, it went straight to the fielder, right by the square leg umpire. Ball was a little bit low, but the player was able to caught it. So this is not a failure. It's a plan. And that is the plan is working in this whole World Cup that India as the opening batsman free to score from ball one. Because you don't want to tie up too much. You don't let it go those power play without like 40, 50 runs for no reason. And then they did maintain. Even they lost the 3 wicket, they still score, I think 42 or something in the first 6 overs. So that was on the goal. And because of that, only the unfortunate thing I see is a Rishabh Pant got out. It's a very hard to believe that the ball he tried to go for the sweep shot. And if you look at it, it's balloons up in air. Now, it is not the situation. You can ask anybody who has played at this level or even at the league level, they'll tell you. If it is spinner bowling, if ball is old, if it is get the top edge, that's only point it get ball goes like balloons up. Here you got the brand new ball, less than 2 over.
Mhm.
So that's like a pitch is crazy at that time. So Rishabh Pant is only unfortunate. He tried his way to go for that sweep from that as soon as he saw the opportunity, but did not work out. And then followed by the Surya Kumar Yadav. And it was expected because South Africa do have the great amount of bowling and they use it wisely. And they did well until they got this 176 score. It was a chaseable, I will say. They couldn't have managed it. But once again, they fail in those last 3 overs when the pressure built onto them. So there is absolutely no failure. These are things can happen because you want to play aggressive cricket. So you have to take that risk. And that is where India paying for it. Rishabh Pant and Rohit Sharma both got out because of that stroke they had in a team planning like, hey, from ball one, we are going for runs. We are not here to stay on the wicket.
Leon, I heard
Yeah.
some commentators saying that Kohli's innings, there was a point where he spent about 30 balls scoring 30 singles or thereabouts. But I've heard some commentators look at that as a negative. How do you see it?
No, no, not negative. The fact is, Kohli knew before he started that innings that that was his last game. India was in a little spot of bother when the captain went, when Rohit went. And notice he stopped, he did not take many chances. He didn't score boundary, they say, until the 18th over or thereabout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is because he knew he had to make a massive contribution. Were he to have been dismissed at that point, India would have been a further hole. They lost 3 wickets early. And Kohli's portion in that partnership or team effort was to maintain his wicket, even though he doesn't score many runs, he's still there. And if you notice, after they got a few over 150 runs, he started to up the ante. and he played his part. His part was to be occupying the crease, even though and the others go for the run. So they had a plan and they worked the plan and it came off. You
And
see?
I think that situation is a backup plan. As I said, he scored those 3 boundaries in very first over to keep going.
Mm.
At that time, we are expecting that the Rohit Sharma had pulled on to that scoring at least 8 or 10 per over in that second over without losing wicket. This game could have been in a different total, I would say, higher total, but did not work. So what happened, as soon as Virat Kohli, I will say you need to start from early morning as soon as he get to the ground. Even he was a non-striker as a starter. He sit down on his knees and he was putting his head down with the bat rested to hold his mindset. Means he set his mind for today. Number one, he's going for the runs. Number two, he realized this is my day. I have to work for it. Number three, the backup plan. If the teams comes in crisis, I have to haul them. And that is what exactly they did. So
Exactly.
in this process, when you lose those 3 quick wickets, and if the Virat Kohli continue his aggression, and if you lose the key wicket of Kohli, then India is done. They could not have even a target to defend. So what he did is he restrained himself from aggressiveness and he decided to go for those singles, rotating strike, make sure build the partnership. And that was the plan to stay until end of the inning. And he did succeed. And at the same time, you can see that how he built up that partnership with Akshar Patel, where he took those, I believe, 3 6s and a 4. 4 good shots actually in aggressive mode. It's only happened because Virat Kohli is on the other end. He freeing up himself and he's telling others, you take a risk, I'll stay.
Okay. Yeah.
And because of that situation, I will not mind whether he bat like 30 ball for single runs without boundary. No big deal. Look at that. As soon as he changed gear after he reached 50, look at how quickly he scored in the last 8 or 9 balls. So he is the person, if you give him last 12, 15 balls, he can catch up any strike rate you want. But if you lose him early in this current situation where you lost the 3 good batsmen, Sharma, Pant, Surya Kumara, these are the key batsmen. You don't want to lose the fourth. And that is the beauty of this legend. He always plays under the pressure. And I believe he took the right moment. He proved it over and over. When nobody can play, he can. And this is on the winning side. That is what he earned the man of the match. And look at the beauty. He immediately told, I'm retiring from international T20 cricket. I will say hats off. This is the way to get retirement in nowadays with some honor and respect, with some reputed work, where a lot of players don't do that. They just want to hang around in there just for the money, just for the more opportunities. And I will say they only go off the field when they go down in performance and when the selectors dump you.
Okay.
And it's just before you come in, I just wanted
yeah.
to take this opportunity to congratulate Kohli. I thought he has brought something to the cricket. He has brought a new dimension to batting, in my view. And he has left the world with something for people to emulate. And I am glad for that. And his retirement is timely. And I hope that a young player like Jaswell or some other guy may just come and fill his shoes. And India has those players. So thank him for what he has contributed to my delight in watching cricket. I just like to see him bat, and it's though it's timely, like Jatin said, he goes at the right time before he's not scoring runs anymore.
Now, I didn't hear the announcement. Has he retired from all cricket or from
20 only.
T20 only?
T20 only, and that's international T20. He did not say about franchise and IPL.
Okay.
but he clearly says he will not represent India in international
Yeah,
T20.
that was last World Cup.
Okay, so as Leon pointed out, this will open up some position for the likes of Gill, Shubman Gill, and
And Jaiswal.
Jaiswal.
As well.
And I'm sure there are others out there in the Indian camp that could certainly pick up a spot in the international team at the T20 level.
In my
Leon,
opinion, by 2020 World Cup, I will not be surprised that we will have a brand new opening pair because I'm expecting that Rohit Sharma is also catching up.
Yes.
Little bit glamour there, success is there. But when you played that first ever T20 in 2007 and you are still playing in 2024, it's like 17 years of career in T20, which is too much on his legs.
Mhm.
Absolutely, right now it's a exciting moment. The team is emotional under the celebrations right now. But as I said, in my opinion, I'm expecting that Rohit Sharma may take off too.
Yeah. I
all right.
don't
No.
see he should go on a high. I obviously think that's the right time.
Yes.
He has a backup. He has the IPL.
Yeah, let me just circle back to the delay in the match there with the with
Good punt.
Pat. I have to say that I did notice him limping somewhat
Yeah.
in walking in between. So yes, there was a situation where it caused a delay and it might have thrown South Africa off. But we should make it plain here that I don't think it was all a self-serving thing. I
No.
thought that there was a genuine injury on his part because he was certainly hobbling about. So it was necessary.
But it is, I see the live games, I can tell you this is actually happened. He was limping before
Right.
he took this break. Means there was something happening in his leg. By
Yes.
the way, the Rishabh Pant is coming from that accident recovery, and he still
Yes.
has to deal with this kind of situation once a while. And it came out at a wrong time. And I believe this was a really a injury situation, and he took the break to make sure that he wrap off his knee, take
Yes.
some medication needed, or put some ice and cold, or get back to the game where he was needed badly to take care of the wicket keeping and controlling the fielding position. So he did it right. But unfortunately, as always happens, the people take this situation as a different look, different angle, and
Yes.
different
Yes.
opinion. And
Yes.
we are not just one. I seen that in a matter of like 30 seconds when he was on the ground, people started talking about this. He's taking break to break this momentum. I mean,
No.
this is what exactly happened in a game between Afghanistan and Bangladesh, if you recall, right? But that was a different situation. You see, the coach was looking at rain and was even signaling to slow down, and he did it. That was the intention. Here,
Yes.
you don't have any clue that somebody asked him to do or somebody is telling him to do. It just happened, but it happened at the wrong time. So people are taking this one as a second view of angle and say, oh, he took it to get back everybody. And yes, we have plenty of mindset gurus out there in the world, not just in US. And everybody says, oh, that's a great moment. And I will not say that's wrong either. That is the way it's supposed to be. If you are in this crisis, get back to the normal, reset your mindset, buy some time, take some deep breath, get back.
Right. So it may have happened that that delay had some reactions. But to be honest with you, I did observe that he appeared to have been limping
Yes.
somewhat and needed to think.
And if you look at this last event when the team celebration going, you can see that Rishabh Pant on his right leg was a slow. You can see that. Okay.
Yes.
If the normal person has to sprint or jog or walk, they use the both feet as a balance. But
Yes.
here, after that break and after the game, I can see that Pant is not 100% on that leg. And this
Especially
can
as
be
he,
proved. This can be proved towards the injury if we hear by something by tomorrow that he has to go through some treatment or injured his leg, then people will believe it's not something he did it intentionally.
there's one other point. Because of that accident and how badly injured he was, keeping wickets and diving on those hard surfaces, because there's a lot of diving being done,
Yep.
left, right, left, and right. So it is very easy to see how he could exacerbate an old injury or situation arising from his past.
It's not an old injury. If you look at, I think, 2 deliveries before, he dived for it, and
Yeah.
the first body contact was his right leg towards the
Yeah.
first slip, right? It was, I
Yeah.
think, Classic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If you look at that one, I believe that is the point. He got the first impact on his leg. Two
Yeah.
deliveries later, this thing has happened. So by the time the first incident, he could say, okay, I can hang in there. I'm good enough. I can take
Yes.
this pain and move on. But when
Mhm.
you got the second impact, even little, now it's hurting. And that is what he took the break.
Leon?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad that it happened at the time, but I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was intentional. It was legit. And South Africa had enough material in the dressing room to at least even Klassen got out early. At
Yeah.
least, well, I would say Jansen got a very good delivery, but the others could have knocked the score off. And that magnificent catch by that to dismiss. Yeah.
Miller.
I
think it
will
was
say they
Miller.
missed the opportunity. They
Eh?
missed the opportunity.
Yeah, they
It's
did.
not about that breaking point by punt created.
Yeah.
When you need 30 out of 30,
30 over. I
during
think
the between the change of over, we could have take extra time, have a water break called in. He could have discussed with the batsmen. The both batsmen were in a good position. The both were hitting the good boundaries, fours and sixes. Now you only need 30 out of 30. You don't need to rush into. They could have put the head down, start rotating strike, get it closer, avoid these big uncertainty about Bumrah's over. You still have 3 more overs to score those runs. So if I'm in situation as a coach or player, I will say, I better go for the Bumrah, maybe about 5 to 8 runs in those 2 overs without giving him wicket. You are a winner. They did not do it. So it is not something we have to talk about on one side about what Rishabh Pant did. They could have done this is different way because this game was definitely in their pocket at that time.
Yes. Yes.
and
I do.
they should
Go
have
ahead.
played. They should have played
Go.
out Bumrah too.
Yeah.
But he brought him in the 18th over, right? And then 2 more overs left.
Mhm.
Yeah, they should have played more cautiously because they know he's. And by the way, Bumrah has got to be classified as one of the greatest fast bowlers ever played.
He is
Yes.
unplayable. You can see that his economy rate
You
is
could not.
it's a lowest economy rate
Hmm.
before the Sunil Narain has a good rate, right? So being as a fast bowler of his caliber, and by the way, looking into his analysis, he has given 6 boundaries, was uncertain. Batsman did not score on him. Ball took the edges and went to find like third man kind of thing. So if you
Yes.
look at his numbers and looking at the runs he has given, actually all these world-class batsmen had a hard time to face him. And he proved it over and over. And even today, when he was badly needed, he came back and opened that door for India. And that's a huge, hard to believe that in today's world, you have a bowler like that who is going accurately. He can refrain any batsman from scoring boundaries and create a pressure which is hard to believe that this none of team has overcome the Bumrah. Whether you look at England, Australia, even this South Africa, I believe they were under the fear and worry as soon as they see Bumrah is coming to bowl.
Yes.
Look
Speaking.
at it.
Go ahead, Leon.
I'm saying, look at it. He seldom bowls. He he's putting everything into his bowling. He doesn't run up less, run up with the same vigor. And he believes that he can get a wicket with each delivery.
Mhm.
And
That's what his target. That's what
Yeah.
his goal in his head. It's very hard to say. I have seen a lot of West Indies quick bowlers, Pakistan quick bowlers, and even the South African quick bowlers. But this is the completely a different head and mindset when he bowls. It's hard to believe. I
and
believe only one person knows what he is doing is himself. I don't think any coach mind or batsman can decode and find out what exactly he's doing and how he's doing. Believe it or not, every six balls, he is coming at you to knock you out one way or the other one. And he is so, I will say, powerful that
Mhm.
he can torture you every ball as long as you are on the pitch.
All right.
he's so he's so fit.
Yes.
He did first
The,
delivery
the,
and
the,
then
the, statis,
delivery.
the
And
statistics of
accurate.
his, okay. The statistics of his bowling show that he had 14 zero dot balls
Mhm.
out of 24 total balls he bowled in the overs. 14, that means only 10 balls
They were able to
from
score.
which they were able to score anything. So that says a great deal about it. But Leon, let me ask you, did you think at the start of the day that 180 runs would have been a winning total?
No, I didn't think so. I thought the wicket or the pitch was playing good. And when India lost those three early wickets, he had them set back. Wait, I think Sharma and company, they were aiming for in excess of 200,
Yes.
Mm.
to be honest. But it proved that 170 odd was good enough.
Oh.
But
Now,
I thought
looking at,
mm,
sorry,
he was
looking at, sorry, Leon, go ahead if you're not finished.
saying that pitch look as if it were more than 170 odd.
Mhm.
So that's my other point. Mhm.
Yeah. Coach, looking at the South African innings, now one part especially sticks out was when de Kock, he got that six from that very fine leg shot.
Mhm.
And then literally the next ball,
Slower one.
the same delivery, and he tried for the same shot. Now, did he miscue that or did they set him up for that?
It was a setup.
Set
The
up.
first one he went on. The second was little bit slower and closer to body. The previous one had some room, and that is what he got hit. Where this one, he did not get the timing right because of the speed. And number two, when the ball is coming to your close to your body, it's you are cramping for space to hit it, and that is what he ended up. And the ball came out a little bit light to his bat, and by the time it's a topper edge or top side of the bat instead of middle, and that is what he ended up in a catch. He could have hold down to it, or in this situation, he don't need to go for six. He could have went for the four, put it on the ground. Can be a better shot, but it's again, these players are professional. When they see this opportunity and when they score the one boundary, they usually taking second ball as a granted. Hey, I can repeat the same thing, and that's in today's world. This is what the smart cricket is all about. And time over, I think Indian bowlers has proved it. They are not bowling without variation. They are keeping you on your toe every ball.
I thought Dennis, I thought he was set up and he
Yeah.
obviously see when they made the adjustment.
Mhm.
In my view, wasn't it a little high that if he had left it alone, it might have been a wide?
No,
No, it was
no.
I don't
no.
It
remember
wasn't
seeing.
wide. No, definitely. If he had left it without attempt that shot, it could have been wide
That's what I'm saying.
because it was on the leg side, outside the leg stump.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's my point. He could have left.
So,
Mhm.
But he
so
got into that
That
emotions at that time, going with the momentum, like, hey, I just did it, and this one is another one, I can send it out.
okay. Mhm. Now, South Africa needed to really score at an average of about 8 runs per over. Now, right up, although they'd lost 3 early wickets, right up to over number 9, they've lost 3 wickets, but they had scored 70 runs, which means that they were still at a run rate of about 8.2. So in this case, I'm not sure that there was any need for them to rush because they were doing what was required to keep the run rate going and to come near. But something happened right about that point. What happened right about that point, coach?
I will say those 72 runs you're talking, 39 plus 45, and out of that, I think 22 and 20. So 41 or 42 runs out of those 72 runs came from that 2 overs from Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel.
Right.
Now, those are both, if you look at on the scorecard, the both are the last overs they're supposed to bowl, their 4th over. What it means, South Africa was knowing after these 2 spinners done with their 4 overs, they're never gonna see the spinners again. And immediately after that, the overs remain belong to Bumrah too. He will definitely bowl. Arshdeep Singh, he will definitely bowl too. And if needed, Hardik Pandya. And that is what came in picture. So what happened over there, I will say, it's a great tactical mind behind this thing, whether it's a coaching from Rahul Dravid or you can say Rohit Sharma. They trap the South Africa. Giving this to spinners when they are in form, just to see if they can go bing, 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 and keep continue. And that is what the trap was. And immediately during this trap, they realize that the spinners are not coming back. And if we have to wait for 19, 20 overs, we're not going to able to make it runs. And there's definitely their fear and worry part is 100% sure. That is what exactly happened. They were not able to close in when they needed 1 run per ball. It did not happen. So that is like a part of this game where you keep your mindset, focus, concentration. Plenty of things need to be in a place, and they did not maintain. And that is what this South Africa situation to me. I'm watching since 1991 when they came back in World Cricket and started playing World Cup. The previous one was the ODI. And since then, I haven't seen this team doing the right thing at the last moment, at the last turn, if I have to use the right word. Either they exit out before the playoff or they exit out in a semi. The good thing about this team, at least they reached the final, but they repeated the same mistake again. This game was belonged to them, but they did not do right. And that is what the India came out at that critical moment, I would say last 4 overs, which changed this entire outcome of this game.
Leon, how do you describe the innings of Klaasen?
I think he was class. he was
Class is always there.
eh? He was
Classer
class.
is a class, yes. Hitting sixes is a class.
No, but he was hitting the ball. He was hitting the sixes. He had the reach, and he was able to hit the ball as if it were a half volley. He hit the sixes nonchalantly, and they were
Yes.
in. He no edging in the middle of the bat, and they were going the distance. And the thing about he was very confident. I'm telling you.
But you look at his inning, he scored 50 in 23 balls
Yeah.
with the 5 massive sixes.
Yes.
I don't see any single six was close enough to the fence. It was clear
Oh,
in the
no.
spectator stands or on the roof kind of thing, right? And then he also scored 2 boundaries, right?
Mhm.
But after that breakup, he faced another 4 balls and has to let it go. So this like momentum was shifted because of that situation. But yes, till then, Klaasen was a biggest threat and he was ready to take this game away on his own. That was the beauty of his batting today.
One other
Yes.
point before you go. That ball he got out with, wouldn't it have been called a wide? Or would it be?
Well,
Okay, I get you actually. I know what you're trying to say, but as per the white ball rule, Dennis will agree with me. As long as you're able to connect, as long as ball hits the bat or your batter's body, right?
Yeah.
And if the ball is not behind the leg stump, it cannot call a wide.
Mhm.
So even it's a pitch wide, I will say.
Yeah.
Even it was a wide, but
Mhm.
Klassen has thrown his bat and
That's
he
what I'm saying.
connected. So now
Mhm.
he's out.
Yes.
yes.
It
No.
cannot be called a wide.
Well,
No.
If you had to let it
I'm
go,
saying no.
if you
If
had to
he had,
let it go, then might be wide.
no, if he had left it alone, he wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He
um, but Klassen, I think the problem there, and I think coach pointed that out, where once the batters get in that mood where they struck 1 or 2 6 or 4 high 4, they get that mindset where they can continue to do this. Now, Clausen was really doing very well. And then what did he do? He went after one that was pitched wide of the off stump. So much so that it just got the bottom, the toe of the bat,
Mhm.
which was perhaps the wrong shot to play. He could probably have gone for a square cut rather than trying to pull it, which was where the issue came about. And that
I
is
think his
very,
last four, if I think his the last four, previous one, last four, the shot after 50, I think it was the same. Ball was very close to the offside limit, means the marker we have for the white ball, it was right on it. He threw his bat and the ball went for a four in, I believe, the extra cover area. And that is what he's throwing this bat again. Like, hey, I just did it. If you're throwing me this ball, I'm going to slap it. But over here, he got the top edge and he was done.
so tell us about that catch, coach, the one that got rid of Miller.
Mhm.
The catch from Pan Yadav out
Yeah,
on the
Yeah,
boundary.
Surya Kumar Yadav, long
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
that's
It's, I will say, that's a catch of the tournament. Let's take it this way.
undoubtedly.
Because not just technical skill side, he was really close to the fence. I will say less than a feet, and he maintained his balance not to touch the rope, whether it's a feet. He did not let the ball go out of the boundary while he was going off. And totally, he was in a complete sense. He knows what he's doing. And that is the reason he came back and took this catch again. So that is the, I will say, number one catch. If you go back in 1983, that World Cup, when the
Yes.
Kapil Dev took that backward running catch of Viv Richards, it was a game changer. Over here, when they took this David Miller's catch, it was over. So in
Yes.
every finals at a world level, you need some sort of game changer, the very, very, very MVP type of event. And this is one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liken it to that myself, coach. The Viv Richard Kapil Dev.
And look at the pressure. Look at the pressure. If you look at 83, as soon as Viv Richards is out, the entire West Indies was under pressure and he cannot come back. Over here, even the Miller was out. It was still reachable. The score was there, manageable. But unfortunately, when you lose, means you lose that caliber batsman with that scoring, the remaining batters, especially for the South Africa, after number 7, they don't have the good batting strength. And because of that, India took the full advantage under that pressure. That catch just changed the game. They created the huge pressure. If you look at the runs after that catch, there is only, I think, Rabada scored one boundary because of that connection to his outside edge and run down to the third man. He did not hit it, but that's only boundary came. Other than that, the drought was there and the batter has no clue what to do. And that's where India took that game as a granted as soon as they got the David Miller.
So, coach, what does South Africa do now? Because this has become a habit. They've gone to basically come to the winning line, basically, and they end up allowing the guy from behind to come forward and pass them before they cross the line. What is happening there?
It's a very similar situation to the West Indies to me.
Mhm.
It's all about mindset. This is not about hitting sixes or bowling right. You have everything you need. But one thing you need is definitely is the tactical side, how to perform under the pressure. And that is the missing component. So this mindfulness part is the next investment if they are the wise enough. Same thing with the Pakistan.
Yeah.
They have the good team, they have the good batters. But when time comes, when the team is under pressure, you can see that they are throwing away. And this South Africa, to be honest with you, as I said, since 1991, I have seen this failure over and over and over again. So in order to stop this thing is basically they need somebody, a good psychologist, or maybe someone is a good at the mindset or mental strength training, because this is the one they missed out today. This was like they missed the sip. They had the cup, they were
And
close to it, but they
Philip,
missed the sip, right? So in that sense, if you look at the other side of the world is India, they lost everything. They were in a no position to win this game, but they turn around. So this is again going, as we always say at the Olympic level, is a pinch of salt. Means if the little bit salt is over, the taste is spoiled. If
yes,
the little bit
yes,
salt is down, you can add, but it's still
you
not
can,
going to taste good. So
yes,
India came out in this situation with that pinch of salt formula to be perfect. When time came, everybody put their event, everybody was in belief, in support. And by the way, strongest player in India, if you look at the on field, to inspire and motivate everyone and stay confident, stay focused, and stay concentration, I will give it to the one person is Virat Kohli. He is
Yep.
in the game every ball. He is in the game, does not matter where he is fielding. He is in the game for the players, whatever happens in the game. And we have seen him over and over and over. Even the India was down, everyone was giving up. He never give up the last hope. And that's a beauty. That's a psychological beauty. And they don't had it. As I said, South Africa, when the downtime came, crisis started, I haven't seen a serious discussion between two batters at the middle of the pitch.
right.
They should have talked about it. They should have take little bit deep breather. They should have reset it. Hey, we need to slow down. We need to build this partnership. We need to rotate this star. There is no point to keep going with this big hitting. It does not help.
Coach, you're so right. You're so right. I see fear in Johnson's body language. Did you not see that? Fear. I don't know where that ball. You could not see where the ball passed between bat and pad. You put your pad in front. Get LBW. You might have gotten a chance. Or put your bat in front. You're gonna let us
No,
go to your body like that.
That was
Leon,
the one of the ball. That was the one of the ball, I will say, in this inning. It's unplayable. It does not matter who is the batter is. They could
yes,
have ended up the same way because that the beauty of that ball is
Yeah.
little bit off coming in. But unfortunately, it's not Bumrah style. Bumrah usually put on straight, put on
Yeah.
Yorkers, so it was a different delivery.
Yeah.
So Jensen went on to see if it is straight and off term. That is what he left the gap open. And it was a small gap, barely a
Yeah.
ball size gap. And it was so accurate. So here, clueless. But yes, when we say you are losing mindset is for the two reasons, always fear of failure and worry of outcome. when this thing is happening in your head, a lot of things can happen and you lose it. And that's what the Jensen is.
Yeah. You know, Bumrah has bowled, he has delivered that bowled Hendricks. That was the one that pitched on about middle
Get another one.
and
Too.
move away towards the off stump, probably
Exactly.
an off cutter. They may call it off cutter, I suppose.
Yes.
And it completely beat him because he went forward, missed the edge of the batter. And now the ball I got Jensen. Now that
I mean,
looks like the
in
in-swinger.
cutter. Yeah, in cutter is
Right.
what I'm saying. It's in
But
cutter.
it put there, and he did go forward. Seemingly, he had it everything covered. But that ball at that last moment swung in and got between the bat, the pad, and his body to take that stump. So it just goes to show what kind of a delivery that Bumrah has in his arsenal.
The
You know,
one thing is for sure, if you look at the analytical side, it doesn't prove anything like you will figure out what it does. But it, Bumrah has proven over and over that on the same spot, same line, he can keep the ball straight. He can keep the ball going out. He can bring the ball in. And at the same time, he can bring the ball up, bounce, and he also can keep the low. So he got these on the same length and line, all six variation in it. The sixth variation is definitely the speed. He can slow down. Means on the same spot, you can expect six different deliveries, and only Bumrah knows what he's sending.
Mm-hmm.
one observation I think I've made is that with the IPL and the Indian players, they don't go out and sell their muscles elsewhere. They play for certain. What I mean is they don't go out and play in other IPL type matches around the world. Australians, a lot of them play IPL and they play in other teams. The West Indians are the same. And I think one for the South African. Now, you've noticed that the team where the failure happens most are where all these guys are spending a lot of time jumping from country to country playing IPL, whereas the Indian players, because they play fewer games, but more quality goes into their games. And as a result, they are able to be reliable and dependable, more so that if one fail at the top or two fail, you still have 4, 5, and 6 coming behind who will fail. In the Caribbean, in South Africa, in Pakistan, you get the same type of first two fail. You know, you get Barbara Azam fail and Rizwan fail, and it's problems. The West Indies is the same thing. South Africa's no South Africa, but Australia has shown it. Even New Zealand has shown it. So players must recognize not just the mindset, but the physical body perhaps needs some downtime in order to regenerate or recover from the bruising of IPL, because IPL is not easy with all those diving and rolling. I'm amazed at how much they're able to dive, stop a ball, get up, pick it up, throw it in. It's a lot of work. I mean, am I speaking double Dutch here, Leon? Do you
No,
see it?
I myself, you just have to watch how New Zealand fell apart. Just have to see Australia was not up to their usual self. And the bulk of these players are coming from them. And New Zealand, I was very disappointed with their performance. With the performance. And of course, Australia did not live up to the expectation. They had a youngster, McGurk, on the bench, and they just want to give Warner an opportunity to go out. So, in glory, but they should have given the youngster, bloom him, give him a chance. But they didn't. They didn't score enough on the West Indies. And talking about the West Indies, we had that. We should have gone to the semifinals. To be honest, we should have beaten South Africa. We let it get through. Our players, I didn't see. For instance, Russell's run out dear to me. Under normal circumstances, he would have made that, and perhaps the game would have changed. But you have to give credit where it's due. India keep their players at home; they pay them well, and we are to come to a place where we can do the same. But would that happen? No, I don't think so, because the money is attractive. But in a sense, Dennis and Jatin, I think the fact that Alzari did not play, was on the bench, he helped him. Because to me, he looked the fittest of all the West Indian players, and he was there. But life
Coach,
is a, it was a magnificent, I say, a magnificent World Cup, despite the setback with the rain, and obviously some of the pitches weren't up to scratch, but it turned out well. The 55 matches came off well, and I think the better team, the best team in the tournament won. I just felt so.
oh,
So the
anything you have?
key part on that one, I will say, if you look at this entire World Cup and 20 teams, I think Team India is the only one has given the priority to the rest the most.
Yes.
Yes.
They
Yes.
knows the workload, they knows the body balance. The physical side of the body needs the body rest. And they took it. Even the day before the final, they were scheduled to do the practice. They call it off. There is no point to give a body some sort of extra work when you are going for this big mission. That's number one. Number two, you might have heard in a closing ceremony, Rohit Sharma says he did not sleep night before.
Mm.
So many things happening. Now, I will not give you all details, but I can give you some clue. He did not sleep, not because of his stressing out or going in depression or thinking about this game. But these all Indian players are well aware of visualization and imagination, which is the part of project. We call it mind controls the body.
Mm.
Means whatever happens in the mind, your body will react in a physical manner, right? So over here, your mind also need to be rested. Now, this rested doesn't mean you have to keep eyes closed, turn off light, and you must be snoring. No. All it takes to give a mind rest is clear your thoughts from that mind. Maybe for a short time, maybe for a long time. And that is where this majority of the Indian players are master at it through meditation or the yoga. And what it does in this situation, I have heard plenty of times, Sachin Tendulkar, same story. But during this process, they are setting up their mindset about the game tomorrow and then let it go. Where most of the people don't do it. Believe it not, this clear mind means the mind rest and the physical body rest are two different things. And none of these players nowadays are maintaining those. Hectic travel, transportation from one venue to another venue, taking some extra burden of carrying your family with you, playing too many games means these players are not concerned about the rest. And definitely, when you don't have enough rest to your physical body as well as your mind, it's gonna definitely hamper the performance. And that is what South Africa paid the price today. Same thing, Afghanistan paid the price over South Africa in semi-final.
Well, looks like we may have come to the end of our little discussion. So we want to thank you all for listening, for visiting, and we hope that we're able to impart some knowledge, information, and something that will be of use to you in your, not just in your daily life, but perhaps in the next cricket match that you may choose to play or officiate in. So thank you for being with us. We're happy that you were able to share your time with us.
I can
from
give
that.
the closing note. Congratulations to the
Yes,
Indian fans, not just Indian players, their family, and the supporters, administrators, coaches. I will say everyone involved in this game. With the due respect, you are respected today for the work you have done. This is the first ever team in cricket history has won the world title without losing single game. That's a huge.
huge.
Not only that, you have like 7 or 8 different man of the match awards. Means is not something 1 or 2 superstar has given this trophy to India. It's a balanced team. I always say is the good player who can win the game for you or maybe 2 games for you based on his own personal performances. But to be a champion, you need a whole team and everyone must contribute when the team's needs. And that is what they prove it. And the last showcase, I will say we are growing as a Cricket Show USA for over the years. We are moving forward. We had a great opportunity to work with the ICC on this particular tournament. And our goals are always big. We dream big. And because of that, I will say it's not just Cricket Show USA. Very soon we are bringing Cricket Show India. And we will be covering this thing in a different language. Just to help this game, our goal is definitely, as always, educate the people, give the knowledge, and bring the fans. Means we care about participation and engagement in this sport, and we love to help players and the fans, not just to play, to understand the game. With that, I will say good night. Leon, your call. Last
Yes,
thought.
as you can see, I want to just offer my congratulations as a token of respect. I got to pull out my Indian hat and my India shirt. And they are worthy champions. They deserve to win. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that they help to bring Test cricket back to its former days.
All right.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
all. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you
good
all.
night.
Good night.
All right, good night.